Hello, everyone, or whoever's out there. Hello, if anyone. I hope you're having a good day. As my name for the live stream tells you, I'm going to Dumaguete this. Actually, I'm leaving on Tuesday, and I won't be back till I believe it's the following Tuesday. Leaving on the 11th and coming back on the 4th. Uh, and so I just wanted to let everyone know that. Well, next week, if I do have a vlog, hey Tita, how you doing? Thanks for coming. I got this in my ear because I got a friend that calls me once in a while on my cell phone, and that's what lets me. Uh, oh, I got to take this off. Driving me nuts. If they call, they'll just have to leave a message. Um, so how you doing, Tita? If you want to come up, the link is up there. But like I said, as the name of the live stream tells you, I'll be going to Dumaguete this week. I'm leaving on Tuesday, the 4th, and coming back the following Tuesday on the 4th. So, I mean the 11th. Listen to me. It'll be the following Tuesday. So, we're going to be doing that. So, I hope you understand. Now, I may do a live stream next week. Let's bring this a little closer. There you go. I may do a live stream next week, but it won't be at this time. Because next Sunday at this time, I hope to be up in Valencia. At the Sunday market. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to go. I want to go to Dumaguete, but the reason why I won't be doing a live stream because it's the Sunday market in Valencia, which is right up the hill, or mountain actually, right up I think it's a mountain. It might just be a huge hill, but right up about 20 minutes outside of Dumaguete, I think it is Valencia, and they have this Sunday market. It's supposed to be really big, supposed to be really nice. I've seen a lot of videos on it, so I do want to go see it, and so that's why I'm going. That's one of the reasons. That's the main reason I going over on a weekend as well, spending the weekend there. I didn't want to return the very next day, which would have been the 10th. I thought about that, but I decided to go ahead and stay one more day, and I'll come back on the 11th. I have some friends that should be in Cebu City here on the 12th. Another reason why I wanted to go to Dumaguete, it is a place I want to check out to maybe, if I decide I don't want to live in Cebu, maybe go there. It's a much smaller town. We'll see how I like it. I won't know if I want to move there with one trip, but it'll give me it shouldn't make the decision to move there, but it could make the decision not to. It depends on how the vibe feels to me. And there's a couple other places I want to check out before I make that final decision. Hey, Christina, how you doing? Thanks for coming. Like I said, this is just a small live stream. Like I said, next week if I do one, it'll either be like a Saturday or Sunday night here in the Philippines. I'm doing well. A little tired. I always did these in the evening in the United States, and so I was always wide awake and ready to go. And I'm not a morning person unless I work, and so I'm up a couple hours earlier than normal. Which, like I said, next Sunday I want to be up a couple hours earlier than normal. I woke up at 7, a little after 7, and without an alarm or anything. I just woke up. Now usually I go do a couple things and go back to bed. But like I said, I had this coming up, so I didn't do that. And I hope, Christina, I hope you're doing well, and you too, Tita. I hope you're both doing very well. And happy weekend, whether you're here in the Philippines or somewhere else. It's still the weekend. Now, maybe the end of the weekend or the very beginning, but I know it'll be halfway through in the States. Saturday will be almost done. Michelle Lee, how you doing, Michelle? How you? You have a tendency to do that, so I'm trying to get over the going out so much because my rent and my utilities and when I say utilities, I mean my drinking water, my bathing water, my electricity, and that kind of stuff. That takes up almost half of the budget I want to spend. And your budget, the housing budget shouldn't be more than about a third of your spending. My house, my rent alone is almost a third of my spending. So that's all right, Michelle. I know you're in school, and it's understandable that you're busy. Uh, this is your fourth year, if I remember, of college for your nursing degree, which I believe is your last year, is it not? When you get done with this year, you take the nursing board, and then you're a certified nurse, if I'm correct. Um, I'm sorry for everybody else. I don't know what Christy's been doing, Arteta. Uh, but I know because Michelle does a lot of videos on her life. I've not been watching much here lately, and but I do occasionally check out one of her videos. Uh, LG, how you doing, LG? LG Rose, thank you for coming. Uh, all right, duty hospital, and you go to school no time on YouTube. Well, I see you occasionally putting up uh, 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 on your way to work. Uh, uh, in other words, a short. You're taking the motorbike ride to work, either work or school. And excuse me. Like I said, I just got up a little over an hour ago now, uh, but that's okay. I hadn't had a cup of coffee, and I'm not going to drink one because I don't want to get up and get it. So I'll just be sitting here talking. But take the board this year. Congratulations. I want to wish you well. I know you study hard and you work hard. And so hopefully it goes well and you get your nursing license this year. I don't know if you plan on staying in the Philippines or if you're going to try to get a job abroad in nursing. I don't know. That's something you have to decide for your life. Uh, it's like I decided to come here to the Philippines in my retirement. Uh, I could have back in the states. I could have moved to another state and lived. I wouldn't live as well as I'd live here, but I could afford to live in the states. in certain states, or I could have applied for federal government assistance or state assistance. Uh, I know if I'd have done that this year, it would have cost me more money than I really had to cut. All right, every Saturday, okay. Uh, I know there's a lot to study in certain fields, and nursing's one of them. So is doctors. I have a nephew who's a lawyer. So I believe there's a lot to study in that. You have to take the bar, what they call the bar exam. Uh, you have to pass that, and you have an ethics exam you have to take. He did that years ago, and my nephew's in his late 50s. He's almost 60 years old. Uh, not quite. He's not quite there yet. What is he? 57, I think. So, like I said, he's getting there. This is my oldest sister's oldest son. I will take care as much as I can. I hope you do too. Hey, Dan, how you doing, man? No, Sticky, I don't have a girlfriend yet. I'm not looking for a girlfriend at this time. Uh, don't get me wrong, I'm looking at the girls. I am, after all, a red-blooded American male. We believe in looking, even if we don't want to touch. We believe in looking. At least in my family, I was raised that way. My dad, my uncles, my grandfather, we all looked. So did my brothers. But yeah, no, I'm not looking for a girlfriend right now. I want to find out where I want to live first. And besides, I'm still trying to get my finances completely straightened out uh, so that I can know what I got to spend. I know I can spend and make it on my, how should I say this, on my planned budget. Uh, but that will not let me travel very much the way I've been living. So I got to readjust some things. And now my planned budget, I'm talking about my living budget. I have money over that I want to save every month. It's been a little difficult these last couple of months for trying to get yourself set up a little bit, but I had a little extra money put aside for that. Uh, I also, had the dental work. I'm not wearing the denture. I could take the camera off and put the denture in if everybody wants, but I'm comfortable without it. I've been without that now for what, a year or almost a year. I said probably been out without the. I'd have to go back and look. I did a video on it. But about a year, so I'm comfortable without having the partial in there. It makes it a little tough on some things that you eat. Some things it doesn't make a difference. Uh, hey Jerry, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming. Uh, but yeah, like the live stream name says, I'm going to Dumaguete. I'm leaving on the 4th. I have to get my tickets. I'll probably do that through the internet. Dad, if you got a better suggestion, let me know. I was thinking about going through Expedia, which was what I did for my hotel when I came to the station. And I went through Expedia and booked my hotel in Dumaguete. And I see I can do the Ocean Jet the same way. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'll probably do that tomorrow. I'm thinking about taking there's like a 950, if I remember right. Well, Jerry, you might have us beat. I know we've been in the 90s and not the hundreds, but the thing that's helping us out, we've been getting a lot of rain, which helps lower the temperatures. So it's doing pretty good that way. I Hey, Coin, how you doing, Coin? Thanks for coming, man. But so, like I said, next Sunday there won't be a live stream at this time. Uh, if I do a live stream next weekend, Jerry will be happy because it'll be in the evening here, which would be in the morning there. And so Jerry could, because Jerry likes to get up early in the morning. Jerry's a morning person. Jerry and I are a little different. Uh, I'm the kind of person that hates to go to bed and I hate getting up. I've been that way all my life. I've never worked one shift my entire, I've worked all the shifts off and on throughout my working career, including actually in the Navy. I worked day shift mostly in the Navy. There was a couple times I worked in the evening because of, well, the shift that they had it set up that way. But that was for short periods of time. The only time, normally, if I worked in the evening, was because I had duty. And for duty, it could be just 24 hours or it could be for the weekend, depending on the ship and when your duty day fell. When your duty fell on Saturday, you also had Sunday on some ships. So you had worked the whole weekend, but then you had, depending on how many duty shifts you have, if you had 4, that means you get 3 full weekends off, worked 1. If you had 6, that means you got 5 weekends off, had to work 1. And then you get them off in a row, the weekends off. I know you do, Jerry. You're similar to my youngest sister. Uh, she likes to go to bed between, I want to say, close to 8 at night. But I think she didn't get up to 6. She wants minimum 8 hours. So if she goes to bed at 8, the earliest she would get up would be 4. Absolute earliest. I don't know if she's still that way now that she's retired, but when she was working, she went to bed between, I want to say, 8 and 9, and hello, Minnie, how you doing? Razar, how you doing? ABCM, I almost didn't see you. Thank you for coming. But like I said, Jerry, my sister is very similar to you. She liked to go to bed early and get up early. She had to have at least 8 hours sleep. Hey, Mike, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming. Uh, so, yeah, I'm glad to hear that, Minnie. Hey, AC, how you doing? Thank you for coming. Uh, oh yeah, ABCM was it? As far as I know, she was still here, but she might have just jumped in and jumped out. Uh, but yeah, I'm looking forward to my trip to Dumaguete. Like I said, Dumaguete is, if I don't stay in Cebu City, is one of the places I'm thinking about. No, I'm going, Mike. I'm going. I'm leaving on Tuesday, the 4th. I'll be back on Tuesday, the 11th. Uh, so I'll be leaving Tuesday morning. I'm gonna take the fast jet over, I believe. Uh, I don't know if I'll take the fast jet back or the Ro-Ro. Uh, I'm thinking I'll take the fast jet both ways. Hey, Miner, how you doing? Thanks for coming. So, like I said, next weekend, if I do a live stream, it'll be at a different time. So, if you guys have any thoughts on that, if you want me to do a live stream at night, like a Saturday night or a Sunday night, let me know. I guess I could do it Friday night, but I'd rather do it a Saturday or Sunday night. Ro-Ro is spelled Roro. It's roll on, roll off. It's a ferry. That's what Ro-Ro stands for. Hang on a minute, Mike. Back up. Uh, there, hey, crypto farmer Simon, how you doing, man? Yeah, and thank you for coming. I busy typing here, so I did miss some people coming in. I want to appreciate you coming in. Yeah, I got a raid going on. ABCM's raid. Uh, I left America, Sticky, because I would not be able to live the lifestyle I wanted. I'm 72 years old. If I wanted to live like I was living, I had to keep working, and I was ready to retire. Leah and Leah, thank you for coming. We appreciate it. Like Simon, what surgery did you have? I know you had that surgery, but I didn't realize it was major surgery. So I'm glad to hear you're recovering and it's going well. So great. Uh, I'm. I haven't been hitting all the YouTube channels like I used to in the states. Uh, my last job in the states. Hey, Danny, how you doing? Let me actually. There were times I was sitting uh, at a desk, and hey, Pamela, I was sitting at a desk, and I was able to watch videos because you couldn't come in where I was working without swiping a badge, and I could see it coming. So I had to. I was allowed to watch it. Uh, I was told by my bosses I could watch. Uh, I play on my cell phone, so I watched YouTube instead of doing anything else. And so, oh wow, man! Sorry to hear about your opinion. Yeah, that's major surgery. Uh, yeah, that's the problem with an appendix. It can cause a major infection. Uh, I was talking about my oldest nephew, who's a lawyer, uh, semi-retired, if not retired, even though he's only in his 50s. He had pneumonia, and a secondary infection is what can really kill you. And he had to have his chest cut so they could clean some of the infection out, physically clean it out, not just with medicine. And so gave him a lot of problems later on in life. Uh, so yeah, like I said, those secondary infections are what can really kill you. Well, Sticky, part of this is my fault. When I was younger, they offered a 401k. Now it would have took a hit during that one thing that everybody else lost money on, but it still would have been more money per month. Uh, and my rent alone was over just my rent on what I had coming in after I retired, where I was living, was over two-thirds of my income, just the rent. Uh, the rent and my utilities together is what I got planned for spending here in the States. I mean, here in the Philippines. That left very little money over because, like I said, I'm only saving a little bit each month. Well, my car payment wiped that out. Matter of fact, between my rent My utilities, we don't even have to go with the car payment because uh, more importantly would be food. After my rent, my utilities, and my food, I'd be broke. I mean, broke. I don't know if I'd have I couldn't afford to have a car. I couldn't afford to. I'd had to got rid of some of the things I had. Uh, Maybe my internet. Maybe just had the TV. Uh, no, no, no. It's not damn. But like I said, it would have improved my retirement situation. My Social Security plus the 401k would have improved things. I'm not saying it would have been the Holy Grail, no. But if I'd have done it, I'd have had almost 40 years of saving money. I didn't do it. Uh, some of that is my lifestyle. Some of that is what happened to me as a kid. If you ever seen my video on my second Talking Head video, how I got the name Lazy Larry and and my life before Lazy Larry, before I got the nickname. When I was about 12 years old, my father went on total disability. My dad was like 6'3", 6'4", and at that time weighed about 258 pounds. He had a gut, but yeah, it's a Navy cap. I don't know if you can see it. Here you go. Let me do it this way. It's celebrating 250 years. Oh, by the way, for the Navy, that was last year. The Navy and the Army and the Marine Corps are all older than the United States itself. They all turned out 250 last year. Uh, Now, on their 200th birthday, I was in the Navy. But anyway, I got distracted. But anyway, my father, like I said, lost all that weight. And he went from being able to, well, I had an uncle who weighed about 200 pounds. Said he was wanting to go inside because he was getting tired, wanting to sit down. My dad just picked him up, set him on top of the car. I said, "There you go. You got a seat." He didn't want to go inside. We won't go into the reason for that. But he went from being able to do that. That if he picked up 20 pounds after he injured himself working, he would get sick, and he never went back to work. He went from 258 pounds down to what was 150 about 150 pounds in 3 months. I mean, a drastic change in just 3 months. Charmaine, how you doing? Thanks for coming. So uh, he started being around the house a lot, and he once said that if he was faking the injury and was actually just retired, he said, I could enjoy this. And, he could really enjoy being retired. But my father, and I may have touched on this and what that video or other videos, couldn't go anywhere without knowing where the restroom was at. We always had at least one spare set of clean clothes out in the car, because when my father had to go to the bathroom, he couldn't control it. He had to go. And if he was somewhere and somebody else was in the bathroom, he would go in his pants. I mean, it was just that simple. And so if one of us kids were with him, we'd find out that he needed his change of clothes, and we'd go get his change of clothes for him and give it to him. And he'd get cleaned up in the bathroom where we were at. And Matter of fact, my parents changed churches while my dad was alive. My mom grew up, and as kids grew up in this one church that her family helped build. I mean, they actually helped build the church. Her dad and her older brothers laid the bricks and all that. They did a lot. They did the work, most of the work. I think the electrical might have been done by somebody else, but they actually built the walls and floors and all that. The basement that was done by my family. Jehan, how you doing, Jehan? I hope you're having a good day. So, but they changed church to a different church because the bathroom was my dad always sat back by the bathroom and he could still hear the sermon. He couldn't do that at the other church. So they changed church so that dad could still go to church and my mom would go, they could go and mom normally sat with the rest of the people, but dad had to sit where he sat at. So that influenced me a lot as a kid. I never thought about retirement. I always thought, I got to enjoy myself because there's no guarantee you're going to be able to enjoy your retirement. There was no guarantee. Hey, Mary, how you doing? There was no guarantee that you would make it to your retirement. So I went in debt a lot, doing things that I wanted to do, and then I would pay it off and go back into debt. So going in and out of debt was a lifestyle for me for many, many years. I didn't save money. If a trip came up and if I didn't have the money, you had credit cards. Dan will tell you the evils of credit cards. But I'd get in debt so far that it's like, all right, I got to slow down and start paying them off. Uh, and I got to where I was really in debt real bad due to credit cards, due to my lifestyle. And I mean, really bad. I had to take loans to pay off my credit cards. There was a program that later on, because I got in bad debt a couple times. And there was a program that you could call and they would manage, they go in and make deals with the credit card companies and whoever else you owed money to and work out a plan that you'd be able to pay it off within so long, but at a much reduced rate of interest. And like I said, they took the money out. You gave them permission. They took the money out of your check and they paid your bills. And they let you spending money, but you weren't going to be using credit cards. So I had to do that. I think that was the final tipping point. Was not that one, but another debt. The one after that. Like I said, I'm a hard learner. But I finally learned that, hey, look, if you go into debt, once you go into debt, you got that bill, you can't be doing anything else until that's paid off. So I didn't mind going into debt a little bit. Let's say I wanted to go on a trip. I didn't have the money, and it was going to cost me. Charmaine, how you doing? Uh, Now, I don't know, Charmaine, if you and Charm are the same people or if you just uh, have the same name, because I think Charm is short for Charmaine. I could be wrong. If I am Charm, I'm sorry. But like I said, so if I wanted to go, let's say, uh, go on a trip to, oh, let's say I just wanted to go back home, didn't have the money, the cash, when I was living in the States and I was living in New York. Well, I'd just take my credit cards, pay for the gas, the hotels, the food, everything while I was on trip. Maybe spend $1,000 but I wouldn't do anything else till that grant was paid off towards the end. Uh, Now I pay off my credit cards by using them every month. They're paid off each and every month. I do not carry anything over. Back then I carried money over, so it took longer. But by carrying it over, I didn't keep using the card. Because if I tried to pay the card off every month, then I was going to use it again that same month. So I tried to avoid that. But like I said, right now, each month I pay off whatever credit cards I have. They're completely paid off. I don't carry anything over. So the cards are used as a convenience now instead of a means of doing things. Like I said, I used the card to pay for my hotel through Expedia. That's who I use, Expedia, in Dumaguete. That's been paid off already because the bill came due and it's been paid off. I'm going to use Expedia again to get my fast ferry ticket to Dumaguete. And again, towards the end of the month is when the bill's due. It'll be paid off, whatever I use it on. So it's just, to me, it's like Gcash, in that if I pay it off, I don't have to pay interest. So, yeah, the cards I got, if I pay it off every month, there's no interest. But they're connected to my banks, the cards I use. I have one that's not. I use that strictly for Amazon. And I'm trying to cut back on ordering things from Amazon until I know where I want to live. I've ordered some things that I can't, like clothing, I can't find here in my size. I'm that large. So I use that and I pay it off every month as well. But I've used it a few more times than I probably should have. But that's all right. Like I said, I got the money to pay it off, so I do. Nothing's being carried over. Even with these credit card uses, I'm still underneath my bill. Not by a lot. Now, when I say that, I mean my living expense bill my budget, not my bill, my living budget, which still lets me save a little money, except for I had to use some of that. Didn't have to, but I used some of that instead of taking some money out of another account. That's still saving money because by not taking it out of the other account, that money's still there. Just it depends on how you look at it. But I'm spending right around what I wanted to have as a budget. But I wanted that budget to include the travel. And right now it doesn't. I don't know where there's a Yuka store near me. I'd have to go over by Fluency Circle. I may do that, but right now I have enough clothing. So I shouldn't need any more clothing for a while. But like I said, that's something I will eventually check out. I'm just not right at the moment. I've been going to the bubble areas and I've not seen a UK store in there. I remember now I take a grab there, I don't walk there. And the part that I'm willing to walk, I don't see one in there. It's about a 15-minute walk, except for the traffic is pretty, certain times the traffic is not that great for walking. The sidewalks are uneven sometimes. You'll see stuff on the sidewalks. They're too narrow. You have to step out into the street. Or you'll see, I've seen motorcycles drive up on them, which I've seen in videos, but I've now seen it in person. So yeah, it's definitely different than the states. I mean, but where I was living at before, I walked, but I walked in the neighborhood, and the neighborhood was an apartment complex, so the traffic was not heavy at all. Now you did have people that drove in the complex like idiots sometimes. Speed limit was supposed to be 15 miles per hour, and you know good and well they're doing 30, 40 miles an hour because they're in a hurry to get home or in a hurry to get leave, and they don't want to follow the rules. But there's no police in there, so it's just, are you a courteous person or not? And these people weren't courteous when they got behind the wheel. They might have been nice people when you weren't driving. Some people take on a different personality behind the wheel. I do. I'm not idiots like those guys, but I can be an idiot behind the wheel. Uh, I have a tendency outside of the apartment complex to speed. Uh, and I had a tendency sometimes to take chances on passing, but only that was rare. That was only because I got behind somebody who's not even doing the speed limit. And let's say we're in and this has happened quite a few times where I was living. You have a speed limit posted at 40 or 45, and they're doing 30 or 35. They're 5, 10 miles under the speed limit. Bright, sunny out, roads are clear, no ice, no snow, and that's the way they're driving. So those people, if I got a chance to get around it and I had to really kick it up, and I mean go from like 30 or 35 to 60 or more to get around them safely, I would do it. Now that's driving like an idiot, but I'd always make sure I had the room to get around them if I kicked the speed up. So it was being a cautious idiot, I guess. But I've seen people pass where it says no passing. That I didn't believe in, even if I thought it was an area I could pass safely. Not Jerry, you'd be one of the people I would pass. Uh, well, but I would only do it when it's safe for me to pass. I mean, I'm not going to pass in a no passing zone. I might have to kick it up to 90 to get around you, but I'd do it. I hate not driving the speed limit if the weather's good. Now, when the weather's bad, I understand driving slower. Uh, Now, I got a buddy back home that I used to work with, Kerry. He would drive this posted speed limit. That might, but I would be a lot more cautious passing him. If you're driving the speed limit, I don't get upset with you. It's when you're below the speed limit. I mean, drive the speed limit. I'm the so Gary. If we're riding together, I'd have to be driving because you would drive me nuts driving under the speed limit. I mean, you got the right to do it, but I got the right to go around you. Yeah, so do I, Danny. In the states, I was I the L of my first name was actually Led. The middle name was Foot. Leadfoot Lee. Or maybe the middle name was Leadfoot. Yeah. Now I didn't slow down the older I got because I used to be 10 miles or more over the speed limit. Now it'd be maybe 5 miles to 10 at the max. And that's on the thruway. Now in the city limits is usually 5 miles or less over. Although occasionally I got over that because I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, on the throughways and the highways, and in New York they're different. The throughway is a paid road that you take, and the highways are the major roads that you're not paying on. Well, Jerry, I mean, if the road you're on has a fast lane and a slow lane, I would say stay to the slow lane because I'll get out in that fast lane and I'll pass you, and there's no problem. You know, now you take Indiana, where I'm originally from. They have two different speeds, uh, 75 and 70, and there's some places 65 and 60. Not in some states. What it is, the trucks, the semis, they have it 5 miles slower than the cars. Now, some of the semis can go faster, and they will. Some of them can't. Some semis, they have the regulator on their trucks, and the truck company decides who owns the truck. They decide what the fastest you can do. If it says the fastest you can go is 65, and you're in an area where you can go 70 as a truck driver, you can't do it because the truck won't let you. I think that's wrong. I mean, but whoever owns that truck, it's his right to do it. Doesn't mean the driver likes it, but it's what the driver has to live with. I never went that fast. So, the fastest in a car, 115, 120. Fastest on a motorcycle, about 100. That was to get away from a semi. I had one coming up my butt, and I was out on the thruway, and you know how the traffic can affect a motorcycle. And so I just kicked it, and I was on a highway, not a thruway. Well, I was in Indiana, so you can call it either one there. But I kicked it up to about, I want to say right around 100, just to get away from the semi. Looking back, that was real stupid. Well, I wasn't wearing a helmet, for one thing. That would have ended poorly if I had a wreck. But I got way ahead of him, slowed down to the speed limit, and a little later on, I got off the highway. I was just out there riding just to ride. I wasn't going anywhere. And I decided if I had to kick the speed up like that, I would get off the highway and get back on the back roads that used to be main roads, and ride those, because the semis usually avoided those because the speed's slower. You had a lot of little towns you had to go through, because back in the 50s and 60s in the States, your major highways at that time went through towns. And towns grew up right on them, so there was stop signs and stoplights. And the bigger the town, the more of the stop signs and stoplights, and the slower you had to go. And like I said, out on the thruway in Terre Haute, Indiana, I could do 70, 75. Depends on where you're at. The best you were going to do on the old highways was 55. I don't think it was ever a 65. There might have been, but you weren't anywhere near as fast. And you had a lot of little towns. Every 30, 40 miles, you were going through a little town. So you had to slow down. I would take that once I got to Indianapolis. I'd get on 40 on the eastern side of Indianapolis. And I'd take 40 right into Terre Haute. But I went through and that's only 60 miles. I went through 5, 6 small towns. Going that 60, well, about 68 miles, almost 70. But I'd go through about 6 towns before I got to my hometown. So there was a lot of slowing down, stoplights, and all that stuff. And there were some towns you didn't have any stoplights, but you had to slow down to 30 miles an hour. And, so you were up and down in speed. So if I was a truck driver, I wouldn't want to do that unless I had to. And they don't do it unless they have to. And so, like I said, when I was riding the bike and I got up that fast, I was like, let's get off. Most of the time, I'll be at 40, between 40 and 55 miles an hour, and I won't have to worry about semis. So got off the thruway and got on the old highway 40 and went back. I might have got on 42. They both go to Terre Haute and went back to Terre Haute. A slower ride, but I still had a nice ride. It was a gorgeous day. Well, Danny, I do not plan on driving in the Philippines, especially in these major cities. I'm not going to drive in here in Cebu City. One of my neighbors, their uncle was a leather worker. Uh, Drake was his last name, if I remember right. At least that was the family's name. Uh, I used to take my stuff into him, have shoes repaired and stuff like that. But you don't have. I don't know if you can find a cobbler anymore in the states. Folks, for those of you that don't know, someone who repairs leather, another term for them is cobbler. I don't know why, but that's the term. This guy, I had some gloves. The stitching came undone. He restitched them. I wore them for another couple of years. I had some new heels put on shoes, new soles put on shoes with this guy. I had ripped a leather jacket. Now it was going to show. It left this the stitching had to be shown because it was up here in this area, not in an area where it was stitches were already at. But it was a very comfortable jacket and very warm, very expensive. So I just had it sold up. It's like the heck with it. It didn't have to be perfect anymore. Okay, if it was a female, I went to a guy. Now this could have been his daughter that took over for him when he retired. So I wouldn't know. But like I said, his last name, if I remember right, was Drake. But it was his daughter. It could be Drake or it could be a different name if she got married. Uh, there was, as far as I know, there was one or two cobblers. I don't believe there's more than that. Uh, I did find a cobbler in Batavia, New York. Okay. Uh, but the only female Drake that I know of would have been his niece. Her first name was Roberta. She went by Bobby. And if it was Bobby, I don't think, depends on when you're talking about. Bobby's last name would have been Davis. She married a guy named Davis. That was my neighbors when I lived in before I went in the Navy. Uh, and his name, I want to say his name was Bob, if I remember right. I can't remember his first name anymore. I know him. Uh, we played football together. They were older than I am, and okay, but and that could have just been if all she was doing making purses. Uh, that could have just been somebody having a hobby of leatherworking. A true cobbler, they repair things. Like I said, they'll take off when you get your heels worn down. They'll take them off and put on new heels for your shoes. They'll put on new soles for the shoes because the uppers are still good, but you wore a hole maybe in the lower part while you're walking. I've seen them put on uh, the, something that like people use for tap dancing, but they're not these are not necessarily for tap dancing. These to help keep your heel from wearing down on one corner or the other, depending on how you walk. And he could tell that by when he's replacing your heel, and he could put that on, and so your heel wouldn't wear down on one side more than the other. It can help reduce that. All right, Jerry, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. And hello, Far. How you doing? We want to thank you for coming. We're trying to do everything that we need to do. I'm surprised this one's. See what's going on here. One of my phones shut down, people. And it's the one that I can give out uh, jackets. So I need it up. There you go. I don't know why it shut down. I'll set it here. It is better. I found that I got fiber internet. I got G fiber. Uh, I probably could have got regular internet. I could have, if I got regular internet, it would have been an improvement because it'd been just me using it. But the fiber lets me do more, I think. It's a much better connection. And so, yeah, I went ahead and broke down and got it. Now I'm not on a long term plan because uh, you have to have permanent residency, like an SRV, or married to a Filipina, or have a Filipina get it for you. Uh, I believe that was stipulation. And so it could be coin. Like I said, I happen to have fiber, and I think fiber is a little less affected by the weather, although yeah, power can be knocked out to it just like for anything else. And so that can affect your, if it's, I had it the other day, I started having trouble because I had the power knocked out a couple times in one week. So I went in and did a reset and rebooted everything, and it started acting better. And it was only on one device, my laptop. My phones were doing well, but for some reason. So I actually had to end up doing resetting things on my laptop, and that straightened it out. So, like I said, I'm thinking about maybe doing a live stream next weekend, but if I do, it'll be in the evening, which will make Jerry happy. He's already gone, but it'll be in the morning in Texas for him. Uh, I trying to remember what days he's off. I still think it's Sunday, and he lost his Wednesday. So if I do one, I'll do it on Sunday evening. But yeah, so yeah, it is a internet here in the Philippines is a challenge at times, uh, especially free internet in your condo or your. Well, see, I don't have a condo. I actually have what would be called an apartment because the building is owned by one group and they own all the apartments. There are no condos. You can't buy an apartment, so you can't buy a condo. They're all apartments. Many of their more expensive apartments are long-term business people. Uh, Mine's not exactly a cheap apartment. It is compared to the bubble area, But when I say bubble area, I'm talking the main bubble areas: smooth business and IT. Good to see you still here, Christina. We appreciate it. But so yeah, everything's working much better. But like I said, I am leaving on Tuesday. I'm going to make a reservation on the Ocean Jet Fast Ferry over from Cebu to Dumaguete. And then I think I'm going to do it as a return trip as well. Unless I decide to get lazy and take, like I said earlier, the Roro. But the Roro will take probably twice as long. Uh, but either way, I have to find my way back to the apartment. But you just get a grab. That's why I'll take the later uh, fast ferry because there's one that leaves early in the morning. But they're going to be competing with people wanting to go to work. Actually, I still will be because I'll probably leave shortly after that first ferry leaves. I think there's about 4 hours difference, so I'll probably leave a couple hours. I'll probably leave around 7 in the morning to get there. Just because, you want to make sure you got time to get everything done. I believe even though I'll have my ticket, I think I still have to go in and pay the port cost, or fees, whatever you want to call it. Now later on, I may not use Expedia, but for the first time, I'm going to use Expedia to book the ferry. We'll see. I know and I know it's going to cost me a little more. I have decided that I'm going to take business class. Uh, they say you sit up higher uh, and you got better window views. And I don't plan on sitting out on deck. So it was a choice between, what do they call it, priority or whatever it was, and then business. You had to, you had to, you had two of them was actually the same price. And one was sitting outside, one sitting inside. And then you had the business, which was quite a bit more in pesos. But the thing is, you have bigger seats, and I'm a bigger guy. You have more leg room. So for the first time taking it, I definitely want to be comfortable. It's that simple. I mean, I want the comfort. Now, I might go down and check out those seats just to do it to see how comfortable they are. But if I ever take the Roro, especially one that's 7 hours or more, uh, I'll probably take that at night. I'll want the VIP room, which Dan can tell you about. It's a private room. You got your air conditioning. You got a place to plug your stuff in, which I need for my CPAP, for sleeping. And if I'm going to take a 7 hour trip on the Roro, I don't want to do that during the day. And even if I do, I want to be able to lay down and take a nap. So I may end up taking one during the day, but I want the VIP room. Yeah, because I want to be able to plug my CPAP in and lay down and take a nap. That 7 hour trip, I know I'm going to want to sleep some. I know when I was in the Navy, some of my best sleep was out to sea. I don't know if that'll be the same thing on the ferry. If the weather's calm, it'll be a comfortable ride for me. I The ship would rock me to sleep. And now, anybody that asks me about shipping, they're taking a cruise. I always tell them try to get midship, and midship is just what you think it is, middle of the ship. You want midship because you're not. If you're get into rough weather, that front end and back end are going to be out of the water and slap back down. The midship still be a rough ride, but you're going to be a little smoother because you're going to be in the water the whole time. The middle of the ship will never come out of the water unless you're in super rough weather, and you shouldn't be out to sea in that kind of weather. I've been out in that kind of weather, but these ocean liners, these cruise ships are so large now, they're a lot bigger than what the ship I was on. And so it just makes it a little easier to do what you got to do. And so that's what I did. But I would always go midship. I would want, if possible, unless you want the view of the ocean, I would go more in only because it's cheaper. If you got the view, if you got the porthole in your room, you're paying for that. Just like anywhere else, the more amenities, the more luxurious settings, the more you pay. I think the corner unit would cost me more than what this unit does, but most corner units have better views. I'm sure I don't have a window on either side of my apartment to look outside, only the patio, which is off my bedroom. I've not gone in and looked, but I'm willing to bet that corner unit probably has a window looking outside from his living room. Where my mirror's at, on my wall's probably a window. That'd be nice to have, but how much more does it cost you? Is it worth the cost? And some buildings, a corner unit may have two balconies. So you can go out, like if it's bright sunny on one side, not on the other, you can go out and be in the shade and relax. I like the balcony, but how much am I paying for that balcony? Let's say I found another place like this that doesn't have a balcony. How much do I save? It might be worth it because I don't sit out on that balcony a lot. I like to look out at that back balcony. I have gone out there and stood, but to sit out there, no, I haven't done it. I'm not crazy about the wall. I would prefer a metal wall that you can actually look through the bars when you're sitting down. Because when you're sitting down out there, you're not seeing much. So if I go out there, I stand just so I can have the view. But the view itself is not that great because I'm looking at other buildings, but I can see this off in the distance. I'm up high enough I can see Cebu Business Park. When you watch my videos from my balcony, if it's from the balcony, you'll see the AIA. That's in Cebu Business Park. So is that red apple with the green leaf. Those are in Cebu Business Park. So it's a good distance away, but you can plainly. When I'm out there, I don't know if you can on the video. I can plainly see AIA and the apple. And now at night, if I go out there after midnight, AIA is still lit up, but the red apple is turned off. They turn it off at midnight, I believe. I've never seen it on after midnight. And anytime I go out before midnight, it's on. So I think they just have it shut down. It's a office complex. But I think AIA is too. So, hey, what can I say? They just look at things differently, I guess. So, well, folks, not much is going on. We're not getting much uh, back and forth going. I've been going over an hour and 10 minutes, actually almost an hour and 12. So I think I'm going to shut this one down. Uh, I'll make my decision next week on whether or not to do one. If I do, it's going to be Sunday night. I've already decided that. I am taking the laptop with me, only because I don't have a safe to lock it up in. So I will have it. If I had a place to lock it up, I got things I can lock it into. And if I do that, then I won't do one. I don't feel like doing one on my cell phone. So now it's an hour and 12 minutes, so I'm going to get ready to take this one down. I want to thank each and every one of you that are still here, especially. Thank you for sticking with me this long. I want to thank everybody that showed up and came in, even the people that just came in due to the raid. Uh, uh, well, Corin, I'll tell you what. Now, like I said, you're in Cavite area, and that is an area in Luzon that I would think about. Uh, I don't mind not having the ocean near me. I'm not going to the beach. I've not left Cebu City since I've been here. I haven't been anywhere near as far as this, I haven't been down to the ocean yet. The only time I was around the ocean was out when I was in Lapu Lapu, coming across from Lapu Lapu to Lahu 18 Suites Hotel. I haven't been anywhere else. And I got to talk to my people, see what's going on about my. I finally got my ACR card. I always want to call it ARC, but it's ACR, Alien Certificate of Registration. Always I wanted to say Alien Registration Certificate. So I was putting them in the wrong. I had the right words, just in the wrong order. Outside of the first one, it was the right order. But I finally got it. I got that on Friday. They delivered it to me on Friday. I could have went out and picked it up later in the week, but they delivered it to me. I had to sign for it. That's why I got to talk to the people. The address was still showing 18 Suites Lahu. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Going, if I had a vehicle, wanted to take my vehicle, I would take the Robo. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I know with me, it wouldn't be a car; it'd be a bike. I'm not going to drive a car, especially here in the Cebu City. Would never try to drive a car here. I just wouldn't feel safe doing it. Motorcycle, you get in behind some other people. When they move, you move. And just don't be cutting in and out like they do. Just be patient. That's what I would do. That's how I would handle it. Uh, but I don't have a motorcycle endorsement, so I would have to take the driving school. And I think I'm just going to wait till I get to wherever I want to live and decide if I want a bike when I get there. If I go to Dumaguete, I'll probably get a bike. Some of the other places, there's a chance on it, but there's also a chance I won't. If I get, let's say, I get into a semi bubble area In other words, maybe there's not a lot of expats, but there's a lot of things walking distance. Now, I do have a barber shop, a nail salon, I believe, and a coffee shop that I can walk to, but not a lot of restaurants that I would want to. Well, like I said, I wouldn't because I have sleep apnea, which means I stop breathing when I'm sleeping. So I have to use a machine. Now, I don't mean I'm going to die. I don't uh, mean that. What I mean is you stop breathing for a little bit, then you start breathing again, then you stop, then you start. So you never get into that deep REM sleep, which is sleep you really need. Uh, and I might, in 10 hours, I might get the equivalent of 2 hours sleep. Now I'm talking about, I'm trying to sleep for the whole uh, time. You know? And most of the time I think I am asleep, but I'm not. I'm getting, because I'm in and out. Like I said, you stop breathing, you're not going to get that deep sleep, and then you start breathing, and you do that. Like I said, in 10 hours, I might get 2 hours sleep. And try that for months on end. Believe me, I did that for a very long time. And so I finally got treated and got the machine. Took me a while to get used to the machine. But once I got used to it, I can no longer sleep without it. Well, I shouldn't say that. I have to be in a near upright position, not quite, but near. I have to be able to lean back just about like this, and I can, with a headrest here, have my head back. Now it may fall forward, and I can get some sleep. I'll get better sleep than laying down, but not as good as I get with my CPAP. And even then, I have to be really tired to be able to go to sleep without the CPAP setting up. Now my sister Alta, who's my oldest sister still living, she was my third oldest sister. She also has sleep apnea, and she would get up in the middle of the night and go in and sit in her chair and go to sleep. And then she'd go back to her bed later on, and she had a CPAP, but she would go and sleep in the chair without the CPAP. Yeah, well, 3 miles is a little more than I want to walk, so I'd have to have a vehicle or take Grab. But that's not bad. I mean, if they're all that close, that's not bad. I like something to walk to. A Bose coffee, a Jollibee's, uh, a McDonald's, a Starbucks. I mean, something to walk to where I can sit down, have a cup of coffee, maybe a bite to eat. And I would like a restaurant as well as a coffee shop that I would like close to me. Uh, like I said, McDonald's or Jollibee, either one would take care of that need. If there's another restaurant that's a good restaurant, it could be a Filipino restaurant. That's fine, or a Chow King, something like that. I still haven't had Chow King, folks. And they're always busy. When I go to the malls, they're always busy. So someday I'm going to have to order Chow King through Grab and have it delivered. That's the only way. I've had Jollibee, and that's the only way I was able to do it. To do it through Grab now. Hey, hey, Slave, thanks for coming. Lady Ann, thanks for coming. So ABCM sending another raid, huh? We appreciate it. Uh, I'm not in. I haven't been to a bar in the entire almost 2.5 months that I've been here already. Uh, yeah, 2.5 months. I've not been to a bar. I don't have the desire to go to a bar. I just thanks, Coin. But like I said, oh yeah, I can walk a couple blocks. There's no problem with that. But like I said, right now I'm not looking to get married or have a girlfriend. Remember, I'm 72. Now that it's August, I can say next month I'll be 73. Uh, so my natural sex drive isn't what it used to be. Let's be honest about it. Uh, Damn near non-existent. Maybe after I lose weight and start eating a little bit better, it, I can't say it's not non-existent. It's just not as strong as it needs to be if I want to be with someone. That doesn't mean it can't be increased by exercise or pills. The little blue pill. But I'm not going to be doing that because I'm not involved with someone. Uh, I would never buy it off the street. I would have to worry about whether it was fake or not. Uh, but we need to get in better shape before we start worrying about those kind of things. Uh, I have met someone I thought was very attractive, intelligent, personable. Uh, in other words, I liked her personality, but she's too young. She's under 40. Although if I was going to go under 40, she'd definitely be one I would consider because she's in her upper 30s. So she's close to 40. But like I said, it's just not practical. And I'm not looking to date. I talked to her once, haven't talked to her since, and that's fine. I met a couple women that I thought would be, if I was into that age group, and when I say age group, none of them are teenagers, none of them are early 20s. But there was one that was actually one in her mid 20s and one in her upper 20s. They seemed like really nice, intelligent people, well versed in English, uh, nice personalities. But like I said, we're not. The one was 29, the other one was 25 or 20, 24 to 26, somewhere in there. Uh, but no, like I said, not going to happen. Uh, for one thing, at that age, I couldn't keep up with them. Uh, I'm not talking about sex because I could not keep up with them right now with sex. But I'm just talking about the energy they have to do things. I don't. I'm not into the nightlife anymore. I go out. The mall and business park, except for uh, 5 days a week, closes at 8. Friday and Saturday it closes at 9. I'm usually gone before it closes. Not always. I mean, there's been times I don't take off till 8, but I'm usually gone by 8 o'clock. And during the week, sometimes I'm gone by 7:30. I try to beat the actual closing, so you got a better chance of getting a grab. That's one of the reasons. Otherwise, I'd wait till 8, 9 o'clock. but I don't go to the mall every day. And when I do, I don't stay real long anymore. All right, I see everybody's cutting back down, so I know it's getting boring. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to leave. And I want to make sure y'all have a good day. Have a great week upcoming week. And if I do a live stream, it'll be on Sunday evening. All right, everyone, take care. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to each other. Stay safe and have fun. Bye.